Well, thank you so much. Hello, West Virginia. What a place. Oh. You know, we only won West Virginia by 42 points last time. 42 points. You know what that is? That's like, did anyone ever hear of 42 points? And we're going to do better this time, okay? But I'm thrilled to be back in this great state. I love this state. With thousands of hardworking American patriots. And what job numbers we had today. Did you hear? Did you hear? Well, we'll go into that. They all say, speak about the economy. Speak about the economy. Well, we have the greatest economy in the history of our country. But sometimes it's not as exciting to talk about the economy, right? Because we have a lot of other things to talk about. Also, very important, the economy is unbelievable. You know it better than anybody, because your state, under our great governor, Big Jim Justice, wherever he may be. Where is he? Where's Big Jim? He's around here someplace. One thing, you can't miss him. There he is. You can't miss him. He's got to be 6'11", and he's up there in the weight, but I won't get into it. He's the greatest. I'm going to introduce him in a second. But we're here to celebrate our amazing achievements together and to make America's incredible comeback continuing, and we will. Right now, we're moving full speed ahead like nobody thought was possible. They did not think it was possible. They did not think it. In just 4 days, so important, because you have a great candidate. You have a couple of great candidates. Carol is a great candidate also, you know that. Carol Miller. In just 4 days, the people of West Virginia are going to send Carol Miller to the House and Patrick Morrisey to the Senate so we can keep making America great again. This election will decide whether we build on the extraordinary prosperity that we've unleashed. Nobody can believe what's happened. Or whether we let the radical Democrats take control of Congress and take a giant wrecking ball to our economy and to our future. America now has the best economy in the history of our country, and we want to keep it that way. In the last month alone, we added, this just came out a few hours ago, 250,000 jobs. That's in the month of October, by the way. That's for 1 month. And nearly 500,000 Americans returned to the workforce. We've created 4.5 million new jobs since the election, a number that was unthinkable. If I would have said that during the campaign, oh, they would have given me a hard time. They would have said, Pinocchio, you know, they do the whole thing. Oh, boy. And we've lifted 4.3 million Americans off of food stamps. The unemployment rate just fell to the lowest level in over 50 years. More Americans are working today, think of this, than ever before. More Americans today, right now, this hour, are working than ever before in the history of our country. How good is that? How do you lose that debate when we're debating a lefty? How do you lose the debate when they're looking at you and say, well, we're going to look at jobs? But more Americans in the history of our country. I mean, that to me is beautiful. Here's another one. African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans, unemployment have all reached the lowest levels in the history of our country. Okay. How do you lose that in a debate? How do you lose that in a debate? It's always nice. You know, when you go into a debate, it is nice to have the facts on your side. It's going to be very tough to beat. Wages are rising, and you know it's been incredible. And it just got announced. They're going at the fastest pace in much more than a decade. And wages went up. First time in a long time. They haven't gone up. People were making more money 19 years ago. I used to talk about it during the campaign, where people had single jobs and they were making more money than they had with 2 and 3 jobs today. And now, for the first time, Wages are going up, and they're going up nicely, and people have a choice of lots of different jobs. And right here in West Virginia, jobless claims reached the lowest level in the history of your state. Is that good? No wonder I won by 42 points. No wonder. But then it was just talk. Remember when I came, I was campaigning. What did you know? I mean, it was another, can you believe, politician? I'm a politician, I guess. I have to say, am I a politician? But I said things, and we overperformed. Let's put it that way. We overperformed. And West Virginia is very happy, and that coal is coming back, and our miners are working again, folks. They're working again. After years of rebuilding other countries, we are finally rebuilding our country. And as you know very well, because you look at your wallet, Republicans passed a massive tax cut for working families, and we will soon follow it up with another 10% tax cut for the middle class. We've ended the war on beautiful, clean coal, and we're putting our coal miners back to work. That you know better than anybody. Remember when my opponent in the last race went to another state about 4 weeks before she got to West Virginia, and she was bragging how she was going to put the coal miners out of work? Remember that? Remember that? And I said, you know, I don't think that's going to play well in 4 weeks. She was in a non-coal state talking about how she's going to put the coal business out of business. That didn't work. It's doing great, and countries are buying our coal. And Asia now, you see what's happening? Asia is buying massive amounts. And you're back in business, folks. You're back in business. You wouldn't have been in business for another 12 months. You were going to be out of business in 12 months. You couldn't have sustained it. I'm telling you, the timing was perfect. Don't ever wait that long. You were ready to go over the cliff. That wasn't good. But you're back in business. Your miners are back. And last year, our coal exports skyrocketed by 65%. Pretty amazing. Under Republican leadership, America is booming, America is thriving, and America is winning like never before because we are finally putting America first. It's been a long time. But if Chuck Schumer, Crying Chuck, and Nancy Pelosi, and the legendary Maxine Waters take power, they will try to erase our gains and eradicate our progress. That's what's going to happen. They're going to work hard, and we will be fighting. Oh, it will be ridiculous, frankly. It'll be bad for our country. The Democrats, and it could happen. Could happen. We're doing very well, and we're doing really well in the Senate, but could happen. And you know what you do? My whole life. You know what I say? Don't worry about it. I'll just figure it out. Does that make sense? I'll just figure it out. The Democrats want to raise your taxes, restore job-killing regulations, shut down your coal mines. And by the way, they will shut down your coal mines. You know that. That's one thing I can guarantee. We can talk about taxes, and I'll be a veto, veto, veto. But they ultimately want to raise your taxes very substantially. But I can tell you, they will shut down your coal mines. They want to take away your good health care and essentially use socialism to turn America into Venezuela. And Democrats want to totally open the borders. They have the caravans. Let them in. Do you want to let them in? Does anybody want to let them in? I don't get it. I don't get it. Think of it. You campaign on open borders and higher taxes. How the hell do you win that? How do you win? You're right. Thank you. And we've started the wall, and we've built $1.6 billion, and we have another $1.6 billion. And then we get another 1.6 billion. I want to build it all at one time. But wait till what you see. Wait till you see. Go home and see tonight what our great military is doing on the border. Wait till you see. Go home and enjoy it. So the Democrats want to invite caravan after caravan. And I don't know if you know, you see the big caravan coming up? 3 more are forming. And you know what we give to these countries? Hundreds of millions of dollars to Honduras and to El Salvador, right? We have to others. We give hundreds of millions of dollars. You know what they give to us? Nothing. Nothing. They give us nothing. They give us nothing. That's going to be stopping. That's going to be stopping. But caravan after caravan is forming, unvetted illegal aliens trying to flood into our country on your dollar, overwhelming your schools, depleting your resources, and endangering your community. Homeland Security has just confirmed that members of the lawless caravan, the one you've been watching, come from 20 different countries and include among them criminals and gang members convicted of crimes ranging from armed robbery to sexual assault. And I don't know if you saw the one, they interviewed him yesterday, and he was asking for a pardon. And he didn't speak English, and the nice young, I guess, reporter was saying, oh, you want a pardon? And what was it for? And essentially it was for murder. He wants, and he's in the caravan. This is what we have. And he looked, you know, you look at him, he looked nice. He looked nice. No, murder, right? You saw that. Good. I hope you saw that. And then they gave me a hard time because I put it up on Twitter. And they gave me a hard time. They said, you shouldn't be doing that. That's not nice. And I say, all I'm doing is just telling the truth. What can I say? Republicans want strong borders, no drugs, no gangs, and no caravans. The choice in this election could not be more simple. A Republican Congress means more jobs and less crime. A Democrat Congress means more crime and less jobs. That's pretty good. That's nice and simple. Doesn't get simpler than that. So this Tuesday, you have to go out. I know in West Virginia, you tend to vote on Tuesday more so than, I guess you can do the early thing, but everyone here likes to go out. Me too. There's something nice about, it's called Election Day, right? We're all old-fashioned. That's why we get along. That's why we get along. But you have to go out on Tuesday and vote. And I'll tell you, Patrick's going to be fantastic. And you know what? He'll always vote for us. Not for me, for us. He's not going to be voting with Schumer and Pelosi and open borders and all the things that they want. And we're honored to be joined by a friend of mine who I just mentioned before because he is one great gentleman. You know, he's a very, very successful man before he did this. And he did it, and he made a mistake. He ran as a Democrat. And he didn't like it. And now he's a happy man, and the Republican Party loves him. Big Jim Justice, your governor. Where is Jim? Thank you, Jim. Big Jim, you're doing a great job. Stay there, Jim. Just relax. Just relax. Just relax. But I'll tell you what, are you enjoying being governor, Jim? The people love you. 65% up. Coal exports, 65, and he works on it hard. Thank you, Jim, for being here. Thanks for your support. We love our governor. Thank you, Jim. And another great friend of mine, somebody that has always been there, just always been there. And she is a fighter. She's very strong, tough, but a great woman. He says Melania. That's true also. That's true, because Shelley, I could say Melania too. She's been great, great first lady, I will say that. And if you think it's easy, being a first lady and married to me, it's not that easy. She's fantastic. But Senator Shelley Moore Capito, where is Shelley? Thanks, Shelley. Great job. Really a fantastic job. I appreciate it. Always there for us, always wanting to vote for West Virginia. Also joining us is Tim Armstead, who is running, as you know, for Supreme Court, a man who's highly respected, and I just want to put a little word out. He's going for that extension. You know what an extension is. I guess you do a good job. You're supposed to be extended, and he has done. So, Tim, wherever you may be, where's Tim? Good luck, Tim. Good luck, Tim. Thank you, okay? And Jim specifically said, do you mind doing that? He's a good man, right? He is a good man. Thank you. Good luck. Do you have any opposition, any strong opposition? It's not strong. It's opposition, but not strong. Nobody going to beat you, Tim. Not after this, anyway. Thank you, Tim. But I'm especially proud to introduce the next person who has really become close to me, and he is a bundle of energy. He doesn't stop. You know, he's tied right now. They're tied in the polls. It's very close. It's very close. And I have to say, I like Joe. The problem is I'm just not going to get Joe's vote. I'm just not going to get it. I like him. He's a friend of mine. I'm just not going to get his vote. Even with Justice Kavanaugh, you know, I called Joe. I said, Joe, do me a favor. I'd like you to vote. He said, well, I may. But no, but you got to vote before I win. Not after we have the vote, because it was a real question. Because nobody has ever been treated worse than Judge Brett Kavanaugh at the time, now Justice Kavanaugh. Nobody. Nobody. He got blindsided like nobody ever got blindsided. What happened to him is disgraceful. And what the Democrats did and the way they played that was a disgrace, right? A disgrace. And Joe said, I'll think about it. No, I'll think about it. I said, Joe, I don't want you to vote after we get the votes, because I didn't know we were going to have the votes without any Democrats. We didn't get one Democrat vote. So I said, Joe, I need the vote like today. This was a few days before the vote. Well, let me think about it. I want to wait. Okay. Because there's nobody smoother than Joe, you understand? Huh? There's nobody smoother than Joe. And no, he's much smoother than Schumer, actually. Crying Chuck, right? When he wants something, he cries. But I've never seen him cry before, but then he cries. But Joe said, all right, let me think about it. And then it came time to vote. And as you know, we got the vote. And when that final vote was just coming out, Joe waited about 1/10 of 1 second. Now it means that Justice Kavanaugh was going to be Justice Kavanaugh, right? We had all the votes, so we didn't need Joe's vote. And he pressed that button. I think it was about 1/8 of 1 second after we had the final vote from Susan Collins, who did us a good job. Good job. She did a good job. Really did. And it was really a tough period of time. But Joe, I said, Joe, that doesn't count. It doesn't count. Because if we would have needed the vote, it was not going to happen. Does that make any sense? Do you guys understand that? I said, Joe, do it before we have the vote. I think we've got the vote. Do it before we have the vote. And he said, let me think. And then when I spoke to him later, he tried to say, but I was watching for that 1/8 of a second. I was watching. But he didn't do it. And I'll tell you what, Patrick Morrissey, I've built up your coal business, and it's going to get a lot better, by the way. As much as you're doing and as good as you're doing, if you look at what's happening, if you look at other countries wanting our coal, and I'll tell you, Vietnam, which buys a lot of coal from West Virginia, do you know that? Vietnam. I was with the Prime Minister and the President. You know, when you're with, like when you're the President of the United States, I went to Vietnam. I went to various places in Asia. But when you're the President here, you're not greeted by a President. You're greeted by a President and a Prime Minister. They have both. And they said they buy their coal now, because of me, from West Virginia. Well, that's good. But something I didn't know. I learned a lot since then. That was 6 months ago. They said it is, and they've used coal for a long time. They said it's the finest coal in the world. It's the finest coal in the world. They have a lot of options, but they said it's the finest coal. I said, good, if I'm ever like around the people, which I expect to be a lot, I will explain that. But do you understand? Do the miners know what I'm saying when I say that? See somebody like me coming from Fifth Avenue, what the hell do I know about that? All I know is I want to put my miners back to work. And I know it works. And I know for national security reasons, another reason, coal is something we have to have. We have to have. But they said it's the finest coal in the world. I thought that was great. Might as well tell you, now I've told you and I don't feel guilty any longer. But I just want to introduce your next United States Senator from West Virginia, Patrick Morrisey. Patrick, come on up.
Wow. Isn't this president making West Virginia great again? Thank you, Mr. President, for coming back again. I have to tell you, last night I had a debate with Senator Joe Manchin. And you know what he said? He attacked, get this, he attacked me for supporting President Trump. Well, I will never apologize for defending President Trump, nor will I kneel to the altar of Hillary Clinton, Chuck Schumer, or Nancy Pelosi. I ask for your vote today. President Trump needs a staunch ally in the U.S. Senate. I will be that ally. But I need your vote. I need your help. Go online, patrickmorrisey.com, volunteer, donate. Help me defeat the Manchin-Schumer ATM machine. Mr. President, thank you for everything you've done for West Virginia. You've been huge in our state, and I look forward to winning and working with this president. Thank you, and God bless.
What a good job that was. So I said, how's Patrick Morrisey doing? To some of my friends, 2 people live here. I said, how's he doing? They said, he is the Energizer Bunny. He is all over the state. You know, sometimes you'll ask that question about candidates. I won't mention names. And how are they doing? Oh, they're lazy. They're not working. They're not working. Well, they couldn't say that about me in 2016. Could they say that? Even these people say he's got a lot of energy. This man has a lot of energy. And just finally on Joe, I have to say that he was all for Hillary Clinton. He was for Hillary Clinton. She was against coal. She was against the miners. She got no support in the state. And yet Joe was totally in her camp. So that sort of tells you. You know, Patrick, as your Attorney General, Patrick... That's up to Patrick, and he won't do that. Because he's just focused on one thing, becoming your next United States Senator. That's what he's focused. But Patrick's been tough on crime and a fierce defender of the rule of law. And as your senator, he'll always be the tireless champion for the great people of this great state. He loves this state. And your vote on Election Day, thank you very much. He's not my type, but I like him anyway, folks. He's a rough-looking guy. Well, But you're going to decide, and everybody's watching West Virginia. Because, you know, this was a race when it started. I won by a lot, and a lot of people said that this was not one that was going to happen. This was a while ago. And then Patrick came along and did unbelievably in the primary. You know, he's won statewide a number of times, so he's been through it, but he's won statewide. He knows your state as well as anybody, I guess. And a lot of people said, well, I don't know, it's almost, you know, let's sort of focus on other states, which we're also doing very well in, I have to say. And then all of a sudden we see polls, and it's tied. It's, in one case, he's up a little bit. In another case, he's down a little bit. But, I mean, it's right there. Let's assume it's tied. It's going to be whoever gets the people going to the polls on Tuesday. The whole country is watching the great state of West Virginia. It's going to be a very exciting vote. They asked me, the fake news media asked me recently, like a couple of days ago, says, what race are you watching? Oh, I'm watching Florida. I'm watching all of them, right? But I said, watch West Virginia. It's going to be very interesting. They said, what? I said, watch West Virginia. It's a great place. So you're going to decide maybe which party controls the United States Senate. It's a very powerful vote. And a vote for Joe is a vote for Schumer. It's a vote for a majority leader who will be not good. And we don't want to put anti-coal. These are anti-coal people. They are anti-coal people. And they vote anti-coal. And frankly, that's what you're getting. And if that's what you end up with, it's your fault, not mine. Remember that. Remember that. Joe will never be with us in terms of the vote. He'll be with us in a lot of ways. We'll go to dinner with him. We'll take him out. We like him. But he's never going to vote for us, so I just want you to remember that, okay? Okay, let's get on with it. Let's get on with it. Let's get on. Patrick, I think if he ever voted against us, I'll come back here. I'll say, we're going to impeach him. Impeach. We will impeach Patrick. He'll never do it. He loves the people too much. He loves your industry too much. He understands the state too well. It's not going to happen. So if you don't want the Democrat mob like you saw in the Senate, vote for Patrick. Just vote for him. Finally, we're thrilled to be joined by the next member of Congress, a person who you really do like a lot, I have to say. And she's doing really well. And I thought I'd just call her up for a second. 3rd District in West Virginia, Carol Miller. She's done a fantastic job. Carol.
It is terrific to be up here sharing a stage with our great president. West Virginia loves President Trump. President Trump, thank you for all of the support you have given my campaign. I can't wait to be in Congress to work with you. You can always count on me to put America first, fight for coal, grow our economy, protect Social Security and Medicare, embrace our veterans, and strengthen our borders. Mr. President, thank you so much for your commitment to West Virginia. God bless you, and God bless our country.
Be careful. So just to tell you that Carol is great on jobs. She loves our coal miners, you know that. She'll always support our vets. She's very strong on our vets. We love our vets. Our military and our law enforcement. And Carol's opponent is a radical left-winger named Richard Ojeda. If you don't want to be saying the words Speaker Pelosi for the next 2 years, who will end your coal business, then you better vote for Carol Miller. Thank you, Carol. Thank you. Thank you, Carol. She's doing great. If Democrats gain power, they'll also be planning a takeover of American health care, and that would be socialism, what they want to do. The Democrat plan would obliterate Medicare and eliminate Medicare Advantage for more than 121,000 West Virginia seniors who depend on it. Republicans will protect Medicare for our great seniors who earned it and, by the way, who paid for it, right? You paid for it. And Republicans will always protect patients with pre-existing conditions. We're all doing that. I listened to President Obama speak today. He had a very small crowd, I have to be honest with you. They don't tell you that. You know, they don't tell you that. We had in Houston, we had the biggest thing you've ever seen, and they were saying, Donald Trump spoke today in front of a few thousand people. A few thousand. We had over 100,000 people that wanted to come. We had 22,000 people in the arena. We had thousands and thousands of people outside of the arena. Donald Trump spoke today in front of a crowd of a few thousand people. Can you believe it? It's called the fake news, folks. But I heard President Obama speak today. I had to listen. I was in the plane. I had nothing else to do. And I heard him talk about telling the truth. He was talking about you have to tell the truth. And yet 28 times he said you can keep your doctor if you like your doctor. You can keep your plan if you like your plan. They were all lies. Over and over again you heard that. Just use it to pass a terrible health care plan that we are decimating strike by strike. You saw what happened to the individual mandate, the most unpopular part. And we actually had Obamacare killed, except for one Republican vote and any Democrat. One Democrat, and we would have had it obliterated, and you would have had great health care. But we're doing a lot to make it a lot better until we do get rid of it. Then I heard him talk about the freedom of the press. We have to maintain the press. We have to love those people, love them. Except that nobody was worse to the press than Obama. Nobody. In fact, he even used, as I remember, the Justice Department to go after reporters. Remember? Remember? But he's talking about how I should be nice to the fake news. No, thank you. And let's not forget President Obama's false promises about our trade deals. Just one. His administration promised that with South Korea, we would create, in a trade deal, 70,000 jobs. But instead of that, it killed over 100,000 jobs in our country. It was a horrible deal, which, by the way, I have totally renegotiated and made it a good deal. Lie after lie, broken promise after broken promise, that's what he did. Unlike President Obama, we live by a different motto. It's called promises made, promises kept. And we've done more than we even said we would. We said we were going to do things, and we've done a lot more, and they will be the first to tell you that. Democrats' plan, that's right, the magic wand, right? Remember, he said you need a magic wand to produce manufacturing jobs. Well, we just hit almost 600,000. Democrats' plan to destroy health care also includes raiding Medicare to fund benefits for illegal immigrants. I'm sure you don't mind that. As we speak, Democrats are openly encouraging millions of illegal aliens to violate our laws and to overrun our borders. They want to sign illegal aliens up for free health care, free welfare, free education, and the right to vote. Otherwise, they don't get much. Illegal immigration costs American taxpayers more than $100 billion every single year, more than 20 times the entire state budget of the state of West Virginia. We need to use our precious resources to help low-income Americans who respect our laws, not caravans who break into our country and break our laws. We don't want that. We don't want that. I'm sorry. And we don't mind if they come in, but they have to come in legally. Democrat immigration policies not only drain our treasury, but they threaten our communities. Nearly 100% of heroin in the United States enters through the southern border, along with roughly 90% of cocaine, the majority of meth, and a substantial portion of the ultra-lethal fentanyl-killing youth drug. Fentanyl, the worst. These drugs kill more than 70,000 Americans every single year. Last year alone, our brave ICE officers, who they want to get rid of, by the way, these are tough, great, strong patriots. We need strength. Arrested more than 127,000. Think of that. 127,000 aliens with criminal records, including those charged or convicted of 48,000 assaults, 12,000 sex crimes, and 1,800 homicides. They want to get rid of them. Let's get rid of ICE. What are these people thinking? That's why you have to have Patrick Morrissey and Carol. You have to vote them in on Tuesday. You have to do it. Yet Democrats want to abolish ICE. They want to turn America into a giant sanctuary for criminal aliens, drug dealers, and MS-13 killers. And by the way, we removed thousands over the last little bit less than 2 years that I've been here. Thousands and thousands of MS-13 gang members have been thrown the hell out of the country. A blue wave equals a crime wave. You don't hear too much about the blue wave anymore, though, do you? Remember a couple of months ago, oh, the blue wave, oh, the blue wave. Now they don't talk. You know, I'm not saying they don't squeak it by, maybe because they got a lot of races. And I can't go everywhere. Can't go everywhere. But now they're talking about a little. I mean, you know, let's see what happens. It's going to be an interesting day at the office. You remember an election 2 years ago? Huh? There were a lot of really happy people that night, but there were some that were slightly not too happy. Cry, baby, cry. A red wave equals jobs and safety. Republicans believe our country should be a sanctuary for law-abiding Americans, not criminal aliens. And Republicans will always stand with the heroes of ICE, Border Patrol, and our great law enforcement. You have great law enforcement right here in West Virginia. I look at those people. I'm looking at your law enforcement right there. I feel very safe. Thank you, fellas. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, fellas. And yes, the wall is happening. It should happen immediately. It's moving beautifully. The design is beautiful, and it's happening. And some communities in California, of all places, San Diego, we're just about finishing it up. But they're demanding the wall. They want the wall. I said, let's not give it to them, because then they'll put pressure on their government to build it, right? Now, once we build it for them, they'll say we shouldn't have a wall, but they already have their wall. That's the way it works, folks. Border security is also a woman's issue. You know, they keep talking about women, Trump with women. Remember the last election? Well, Donald Trump won't do very well with women. I did great with women. Look at the sun. I did great with I did great with women. In fact, at the end, when I won, they said, you know, a statistic we got wrong, women really came out for Trump. I said, thank you, thank you. Same thing now. Because women want safe neighborhoods for their families, right? They want great school, health care for their children. They want to keep drug dealers and predators and traffickers. How about the traffickers? These are human traffickers. These are the worst scum in the world. They want them out of our country, and we do that. The Democrats don't do that. They want the open borders. Fly right in, folks. Come on in. We don't care who the hell you are. Come on in. Think of it, 300 people. You know, we're getting a lot of heat because I was saying there are some bad people in that caravan, right? So we checked. 300 people. I read them out to you. That is one more reason why women all across the nation are going to show up and vote Republican on Tuesday. They want security. They want safety. They don't want to have these people coming in. They don't want to have, some of these people are just horrible people. You have to see the crimes they've committed. This election is about security, and it's about prosperity. For years, you watched as we let foreign countries plunder our wealth and shutter our factories and steal our jobs. And you watched helplessly. We don't watch helplessly anymore. Those days are over. We've added 500,000 manufacturing jobs, soon to be 600,000 since the election, including 32,000 in just the last month. These were jobs that the previous administration said would never happen. And these are great jobs. These are among our greatest jobs, manufacturing jobs. And thanks to our tariffs that we put on steel that was coming in, and they were dumping it all over the place and destroying our steel companies and our aluminum industry. Roaring back. Steel industry is roaring back. And for the miners, by the way, in Minnesota and other places, we're grabbing that iron ore and they're making steel. And the hottest industry, one of the hottest industries now, look at what's happened to steel. Steel, like coal, it was going off the cliff. You weren't going to have a steel industry in this country. And we need it. You know, certain industries you need steel. You don't have steel, you need it for defense. What are we going to do in case hopefully we'll never have a problem, okay? You know, I've made the military, it'll be stronger than it ever was before ever. And that's why you won't have a problem. You know, if you don't want to have a problem, make your military much stronger than anybody else ever thought possible. But we need steel. How about this? We don't have any steel. Our steel mills were finished. We were going down. You guys understand that, but we were going down. Now it's so hot. But you need steel. There are certain industries you have to have. You need it for defense. You don't have it, you have problems. What are we going to do? We have a conflict and we call China? We need more steel, please. Please, please. Could we have some more steel? It's ridiculous. Our steel industry is roaring back, and we're putting billions of dollars in our treasury because we're charging 25% tax on those people that dump their steel. They dump it all over the place in order to destroy our steel industry. And the miners are coming back. In this case, it's the iron ore, and it's coming out, and it's a beautiful thing to see. I mean, we've rebuilt. We really started that about 8 months ago. Really heavy started it. I wanted to get my feet a little bit wet as president, right? We started it about 8 months ago. It's incredible. The head of U.S. Steel called up. He said, I've never seen anything like it, what you've been able to do in such a short period of time. They're building 7 new plants. They're expanding plants. Nucor, a big steel company, is building brand new plants, $750 million, $900 million brand new plants. It's incredible. They haven't been built in years. Last month, I announced that we're replacing the horrible NAFTA deal, one of the worst, stupidest deals ever made, with an incredible brand new U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement. We've taken the toughest ever action to crack down on China's abusive trade practices, and we're doing very nicely. We'll probably make a deal. They want to make a deal. America is being respected again. We're respected as a country again. We were not respected for a long time. We were laughed at, just like these stupid immigration laws. The whole world looks at them. They laugh. They say, what is this all about? A person comes into our country. Another country throws them out. Hey, get out. You're not supposed to be here. You have to go through a process. You know what we do? We take them. We can't do anything. We bring them through a court proceeding. We take a person who walks onto our property. We have a big deal, court case. They have lawyers. We have lawyers. And what happens is then they go away, and they're supposed to come back for the trial. Could be 2 years, 3 years later. And they disappear into the country, never to be seen again. There's no trial. Very few people come back, almost none. This is the procedure. This is the law. This is crazy. And the Democrats don't want to change it because they know it's chaos and a disaster, and they think that's good. But I think it's good for us because I think they overplayed their hand. And how these caravans were formed, you have to figure that out. But they overplayed their hand, too, assuming they had something to do with it. But it was very well organized, amazingly, in Honduras and the different places. Very well. And, you know, they came up, And I'll tell you, people are really energized. They're energized about that. They're energized about the way Justice, as you know, Justice Kavanaugh was treated. They're energized when they saw the way he was, Brett Kavanaugh, when they saw the way he was treated, they're energized about a lot of things. They want to see us be a great, respected country, and that's what's happening. We've taken bold action to reduce the price of prescription drugs. To help critically ill patients get life-saving treatments, we passed something that they've been trying to pass for many, many years. It's called Right to Try, where you can try stuff that isn't out yet, but it's looking promising. It's such an important thing. They've been trying to pass that for decades. I got it done. After years of surging premiums, the cost of health care is finally coming down. We're getting the cost of health care down. And last month, I proudly signed the largest bill to fight the opioid epidemic. It's the largest bill in American history. We passed Veterans' Choice, giving our veterans the right to see a private doctor, and the landmark VA accountability law to ensure anyone who mistreats our veterans will be held accountable. You are fired. Get out. We secured $700 billion and $716 billion to fully rebuild the United States military, and we gave our great warriors, I know you have some of them right here, and I know they don't care about this. They couldn't care less. They don't mind. Maybe we'll take it back. We gave them the largest pay raise they've had in more than a decade, okay? Our military. They deserve it. At my direction, the Pentagon is now working to create the sixth branch of the American Armed Forces, the Space Force. I withdrew the United States from the horrible one-sided Iran nuclear deal, and just today we reimposed all sanctions that were lifted under that horrible deal. Just today. We now have in place the toughest ever sanctions on a corrupt regime in Iran. We've recognized the capital of Israel and opened the American embassy in Jerusalem. Many, many presidents said they were going to do that. They never got it done. I got it done. I even got it built. I already built the embassy. $1 billion under budget, right? $1 billion. $1 billion under budget. It was supposed to cost $1.1 billion. We got it done for less than $500,000. That's not bad. It's a long story. I won't bother telling you that story, but it's pretty amazing. And there are many things like that. Together, we've made extraordinary progress, and we're just getting started. But the Democrats want to turn back the clock and put America in reverse and give power back to corrupt, selfish, ruling class people, and they want to take the power back for themselves. But we are not going backwards. We're going forwards. I need your vote for a Republican House. I need your vote for a Republican Senate so we can continue this incredible movement, the greatest political movement in the history of our country. And I say it all the time, and they can't challenge it. Greatest movement in the history of our country. You know, Bernie Sanders had a reasonably good movement, but Hillary clipped him. They had a look in that one. He got clipped. But we would have beaten him easy. He would have been easier. Crazy Bernie. We will keep on cutting your taxes, reducing your regulations, and raising your income. We will protect Medicare and your Social Security. Remember what I said during the debates? Everyone was talking about cutting the Social Security and all. I said, we're not touching your Social Security. We haven't touched it. It's been a long time now. We will defend your right to free speech, religious liberty, and we will continue to confirm judges who interpret the Constitution as written. We will fully secure the border. We will pass Kate's Law. We will stop sanctuary cities. We will stop catch and release, end visa lottery, end chain migration. And we will keep the criminals, drug dealers, and terrorists the hell out of our country. We will lift millions of our citizens from welfare to work, dependents to independence and poverty to prosperity. That's what's going to happen. For years you watched as your leaders apologized for America. Now you have a president who is standing up for America. We're standing up for your values. We're standing up for West Virginia, and we are proudly standing up for our national anthem. To continue our incredible momentum, I need you to get your family, get your friends, get your neighbors, get your co-workers, and go out and vote Republican for all of them and our 2 stars right here. On Tuesday, I need the people of West Virginia to send a message to Crying Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, Maxine Waters, and the radical Democrats by voting for Carol Miller and Patrick Morrissey. Loyal citizens like you help build this country, and together we are taking back our country, returning power to you, the American people, like we said we were going to do. This great state was built by some of the toughest men and strongest women ever to walk the face of the earth. These proud West Virginia patriots braved the wilderness and defied the dangers to build a life and a home with their own 2 hands. They didn't have a lot of money, they didn't have a lot of luxury, but they all had one thing in common. They loved their families, they loved their country, and they loved their God, right? They loved their God. They loved their God is right. These courageous Americans did not shed their blood, sweat, and tears so that we could sit at home while others tried to erase their legacy, tear down our history, and destroy our proud American heritage. For the sake of our freedom and for the sake of our children, we are going to work, we are going to fight, and we are going to win, win, win. We will not bend. We will not break. We will never give in. We will never give up. We will never back down. We will never surrender. And we will always fight on to victory. Always, always. Because we are Americans, and our hearts bleed red, white, and blue. We are one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. And together, we will make America wealthy again. Make America strong again. Make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you very much, West Virginia. Thank you. Thank you very much.